Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world at this moment. Welcome to this discussion, conversation, chat with the Morning Tea Marketing Missus. We offer valuable tips to small business owners and souls traders, that would be soul traders, to help them improve their online presence and communicate more effectively. Hang on, look, yeah, communicate more effectively and to reach a larger audience. For the month of April, we're talking about health. All components of health as it affects you and your business. Our fellow conversationalists are Narelle Gatti, and Narelle is an accredited accessibility auditor, and she's passionate about ensuring that businesses are able to reach the widest possible market by enhancing their digital communication methods that meet Australian standards. I am Janeen Vosper, and I help women in leadership roles to remove limiting beliefs and possess the courage to stand out as an authority in their field of expertise. Jan Roche's business is Biz Connect Web Design, and if you were listening to last week's conversation, you would know she also has a business called Over 50s Health. And with the Biz Design, they're experts in helping small business connect to their customers online. Kate is the authority in this conversation. Kate Smith is a graphic designer for service and experience-based businesses. She helps you showcase your brand to resonate with your ideal clients and increase bookings. Kate, I am looking forward to this conversation. Hey, ladies, it's great to see everyone again.
Hello. Hi. Thanks, Janeen. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about brand health this month as we talk about health. So I thought I'd try and give you a way to do a simple brand audit so you can kind of look at what's going on with your brand visually and see if there's any improvement. And I know this is often something that you'll, as a larger company, pay someone to do, to come in and look at all your materials and see where you're not consistent, but it's probably something we don't do often enough as small businesses, and see where we're going wrong or where we could improve. There's all these kind of opportunities for improvement when we start looking. So if you wanted to do your own brand audit, all you need to do is pull out everything you have, open up every tab on your computer of your website, your landing pages, your social media accounts, pull out your brochures, anything physical that you have. If you've got banners and things, set them up in the living room, get everything together as much as you can and have a look. And you might or might not have a branding guideline. If you've done your own logo or brand, you may never have thought to do that. And your designer may not have done it either, depending how and what kind of package you paid for when you had a logo designed. But if you have a brand guideline, have that handy and start looking at everything that you have and see if it actually aligns with your brand strategy, because that's what your branding guideline shows you. It shows you how to stay aligned with your brand strategy. And this is something that should have been thought about when designing all of your visuals. So if you've got a brand that appeals to young people, it's got to be a bit edgy, it's got to be a bit fun, it can't be very serious. That's got to show through on everything. If your brand needs to be quite trustworthy, then maybe you need to have more a somber kind of feel. And if you're starting to cross over and do things a bit differently than that main brand strategy, you might need to think about pulling that back in and going with the original brand. So yeah, look at everything you have, see if it matches your brand guidelines if you have them. If you don't, look for inconsistencies. So you can look for things that are obvious, like your colors. Does your logo look the same? Have you used a different logo, an old logo on some things? Are you using the right fonts on everything? Are they the right ones for one? Are they the same? If you look for things like your icons, just visual things you use with your brand, like our little brand here, we've got our little rhombus in the center with our 2 fonts, and anything that has Morning Tea Marketing Misses, we're going to use those fonts, that shape, those colors, and that's going to be the thing that makes you recognize us. So if you've been seeing our videos a lot, you might be scrolling through and you're not even going to notice why, but you're going to see those colors, those shapes, and you're going to go, oh, that's another video with those girls.
So, yeah, Kate, just on that, I recognise the first 2 videos we made, we didn't have the logo in there, and how much every other video stood out since then.
Great. Wow, that's good to hear. Yeah,
Mm.
as it should. I think we all had our own background, like our individual backgrounds that we use in our own businesses, which is great. But as we come here together, we're part of a kind of a different brand. When we all get together, we're part of the Morning Tea Marketing Misses. So it's nice to have that unified brand, and anything that we do together to have that brand on it. So once you've looked at all your materials and you go, okay, everything's pretty good, consistency is all right, these two things are not at all, we need to make some adjustments there. You can also start to see, if you've done a few things differently, you can ask yourself, why did we go down that path? Is this an improvement actually? Is this better than what we had originally? Do we need to kind of bring everything else in line with that? And this is when you start thinking about what you call rebranding. So if you've diverted from your original brand and you're starting to get a bit of a different look, a bit of a different feel, this might be because your audience has actually changed, or your message has changed. Something about your business has changed that you need to appeal a little bit differently now. So you might consider a rebrand. Oh, have you got a question, Jan?
Hey, I can't quite hear you.
Oh, really?
Just went a little more quiet.
Ooh. I'm gonna. Is this any better, guys?
Yeah, much better.
Oh, okay. Sorry, everyone. Hope you can hear me now. So if you find that there's some diversions from your brand that you're actually enjoying and you think are a better representation of your brand, that's something perhaps to pursue. But the key is consistency. So if you've got something new, you've just made a new slide deck, for example, to sell something to someone, and you're like, that worked so well, and that actually seemed much more aligned. The clients actually responded much better to that. We need to go in that direction. You might want to think about bringing everything in line with that new look, because the consistency is key. And if you've got your social media templates and they're still going out looking like something different, and then they see this other new great thing, they might not think that they're the same thing. And then you miss one of those touch points that build trust with your audience. So I guess the point of a visual branding audit is so that you can see that consistency and whether you are building trust with your target audience. Yeah.
I know I changed my fonts a while ago and just changed from having the speech perfect to Janeen Vosper, and changed not the fonts but the colours. So then, yes, going through absolutely everything. And because I'm doing presentations all the time, even just the colour of the font in the presentations and the whole thing, just changing it.
Job,
it's a huge job.
Yeah.
I mean, the old stuff's still out there and it's still me. It's nothing wrong or different, but my logo with the lady with the microphone, she's still there.
Yeah, nice.
It's so clever. I really love it.
Yeah. Kate, how often should you do a brand check?
Oh, I would say do it at least once a year.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be as like all consuming as this, but if you just want to take time out, and it might be something you do organically, especially when you've created something that's a bit different and you're like, oh, why did I do that? Should I do this? How does everything else look? If I go down this road, do I have to take the time and bring everything else up to scratch with it? Is that worth this change? So it's something you could do organically when you do kind of naturally change something about what you're creating. But it is something good to look at every now and then, just to make sure you're consistent, because that's how you build trust with your target audience.
Oh, excellent.
Businesses evolve too, Kate, don't they? You know, that's the thing. I know I've had a couple of different business names and probably 4 different looks over 12, 13, 14 years that it's just evolved.
Yeah, it does. And it's for a lot of reasons. You might have changed your target market, or you might have become more niche than you were before. You might have changed your messaging. You might have wanted to appeal in a different way or change your service slightly so that it needed to say something a bit different. Often people want to do a rebrand when they've got a brand and it used to really speak to their target customers and it worked really well for them. But now they're going for bigger and, more high-end customers, or perhaps customers in a different niche. And that's who
Okay.
they really want to target. And the brand that they started with just doesn't appeal to those people. So they're finding it hard to break into that target. And it could just be a branding thing.
Okay. Excellent.
I know mine matured a lot from my first brand. My
Yeah.
first business name was Shifting Visions. So that's, was enabling people to see things from a different perspective. But mine's all about communication. So speech perfect is what I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it evolved and then hit the right market. Because when you're starting out, that's the hard thing, thinking you have to get it right.
You don't.
You just have to do it, don't you? And then,
Don't let perfection get in the way of progress.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
yeah.
And so if that means doing something in Canva and just starting, do it. That's what you have to do. Or you don't know which designer to choose, I don't know, have a look at their portfolio and go with your gut. If it appeals to you, especially if you are your target audience, because if it appeals to you, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to appeal to your target.
Yeah.
That is such a good point, Kate. Like the number of clients that we've worked with where they think that they have to have everything looking exactly how they like it. Well, they're not the ones who they're trying to market to.
No. Yeah, it helps if you are your target market, but not always.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I was working with someone recently and they're saying, I don't want to be on any social media. I don't want to be out there on anything. And they're just starting out business. And I'm thinking, well, and then they said, because, this is how I want to do things. That's fine, except that's not how you're going to pick up clients. It's not where your prospects are not. If you're not out there, then they're just not going to find you. It was very much from their point of view, and that's what you're saying, isn't it, too, Jan and Kate, is that you've got to do it from what your client is looking at and looking for.
And it's one thing, like branding can apply to a personal brand, a business brand, and you mentioned visual branding. So that's very important to, for logos and typography and fonts and so on. But branding, it's a bit broader than what, just your little logo, right?
Yeah.
So, we need to think about, what the personality of the business owner is behind all of that as well.
Yes, 100%. Because your values and your personality have to come through as well, because that's probably why you started the business, because you wanted to bring that to the world. And so that comes through in things like your tone of voice when you write. Are you a bit cheeky? Are you very serious? Do you make jokes? Do you I know some people who use abbreviations in words all the time, even though it's like kind of incorrect, but it appeals to their market because they write like that. So it's slotting into the culture of your market. Yes, and what I do is only visual branding. So I make the look align with the mission and the values and the tone of voice, all these other things. But your brand is a much broader thing. It encompasses everything about your business and how people perceive you.
Okay.
And as you said, making sure that everything is the same and it looks consistent. You don't want to confuse people.
It's the most boring part of branding. It's just it's like, well, why can't we do something fun on this one and everything else looks like that? It's like that's the point. I know it's kind of dull, but that's how people recognize you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's recognizing the visual stuff, is recognizing the brand. And so, like, the golden arches, we've referred to that past. When a 2-year-old child in their car seat in the back of the car gets all excited when they see those golden arches.
You're doing something right.
That's right.
Although saying that, the visual brand for that's still the same, but they're changing their brand inside the stores with no service.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they go and do everything yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
As opposed to, lining up behind the counter. And so that is obviously a move they're making to reduce staffing costs.
Yeah.
But it is changing that whole brand thing where if people want to do things themselves, great. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to have to muck around with that. They just want to give an order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Touch.
Yeah. And
true.
me, I'm like, oh, I'm touching a screen. Where's the hand sanitizer?
And I was actually thinking, and what's the accessibility of those screens? You know, how
Yeah.
easy is it for a person like me
Yeah.
who
There's
needs
no
special
screen
tools?
readers, is there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What, just going through a supermarket for you, Narelle?
Oh,
An
yeah.
assistance at
Brutal.
supermarket?
I have a support worker with me, or my husband does the shopping, or I go to this wonderful IGA downstairs and I get what I need. If I can't find something, they get it, take it up to them, and they do the work. I don't do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
It does that, you know, that you don't sort of think about it until you have to.
Yeah.
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 I should have included that in the audit, Narelle. Things, even the smallest things, like how big is the text on your website?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It
Yep.
can, especially if you have a target market that's a bit older.
Yep.
It's got tiny, weeny little text. They're not even going to bother with it. So
And on your business card too, Kate.
I was
Yeah.
just about to
Yeah.
say, by extension, your business card, if it's too
Mm.
small. Me, I'm having to wear glasses a lot all the time now. And
Yeah,
it's
but you need to be like me, Jan. Get rid of them.
to get rid of them.
I'm sorry.
My arm's just not long enough. I just can't read that.
you know, Narelle, the other morning when you said you're out walking
Oh,
at 4 a.m. or something. I'm
That's
thinking,
3:30.
I know. The thing was, I'm thinking, oh, it's dark.
I was just walking and thinking, oh,
I
it's
know,
very quiet.
Yeah. I as soon as I had that thought to myself, I went, no, that doesn't really matter. You can see.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You're right.
Yeah, it
there's
wasn't
no-
until I got to the other end and sort of said, I won't say the magic word because my phone will wake up and saying, what's the time? And they're saying, oh, 3:45. Oh my gosh, this is not a good time to be out walking along here. Let's turn around and go home. Oh,
But it's all these things that you have to be aware of, isn't it? You know, when you're
yeah,
doing that branding thing,
yeah,
with
that's it.
how everyone can have access to it.
Mm.
But
Oh, definitely.
Anyone have any more questions for Kate?
No, that was
No, that's
valuable. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, it's always. And you know what I love? We always have fun on these. And every single picture that we've got, you know, we're talking about the marketing on all of the YouTube images. You look at it, we're all laughing at the
Oh,
same
are we?
every single one. You're choosing great ones, and if I see one that's got even more laughter in it, Narelle, I just choose that. And I think it's
Oh, fantastic.
it's just obviously we're having fun. We definitely
Well,
have
we
fun.
are.
Thank you, Kate, for
Yeah.
that reminder about checking in with everything and the health of our branding. It's
give your brand a little health check.
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah.
And that's another conversation with the Morning Tea Marketing Missus. Please remember to share wide and across every country on earth our YouTube channel and subscribe and leave a comment. We'd love to hear what you get enjoying out of listening to us rabbit on sometimes. No, there's really valuable information here. No, it is. I'm learning every single time we come on. I go, wow, I'm learning great stuff.
Yeah.
Enjoy, and we look forward to you joining us on the next episode or the next conversation with the Morning Tea Marketing Missus. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.